Good morning everybody, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Good morning everybody, I hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope your evening yesterday was brilliant. So it's Saturday morning, I'm here in Rochester and it's another miserable looking day, so it's, excuse my little t-shirt bit hanging down. So it's cold and dark, which is not good for people that suffer from SAD, seasonal affectional disorder, and depression. So another bleak day, unless the sunshine decides to peek out through the clouds. I haven't got a clue. You deal with my t-shirt, it's longer than my cardigan. So I've just made myself a lovely cup of herbal tea, strawberry tea. I've just made myself a cup of tea rather than caffeine this morning. So I'm going to go through my Alexa bits and pieces and then we'll tell you what happened last night.
After a long night shift, and I get blood when I can.
Exit.
To free.
So I've had the radio on for most of the night. Not on really loud, just so that it distracts my ears from other things. I've had the radio on. Alexa, what's the time, please?
The time is 8:35 a.m.
Alexa, good morning.
Good morning, and a happy birthday to Disney's Cinderella. The animated classic was released on this day in 1950. I hope the princess has a good knees up to celebrate, as long as she's home by midnight.
Alexa, what's the date today?
Today is Saturday the 15th of February.
Alexa, what's the weather outlook?
Right now in Rochester, it's 2 degrees Celsius with mostly cloudy skies. Today's forecast has showers, with a high of 5 degrees and a low of 1 degree.
Alexa, who was born on this day?
Celebrities born on the 15th of February include Galileo Galilei, Callum Turner, Chris Farley, Ernest Shackleton, and Megan Thee Stallion.
Alexa, who is Megan Thee Stallion?
According to Wikipedia, Megan Javan Ruth Pete, known professionally as Megan Thee Stallion, is an American rapper and songwriter.
Something I didn't know. So, good morning everybody, let me take a seat. It has been quiet here all week. Up and down the road, going onto the field, there's not been any trouble. I hadn't seen my mother for 2 weeks. I went up to see my mum yesterday. There was no trouble up there. No, her neighbours, I saw them, a couple of them go in and out, but they were no trouble. So I was allowed to sit in my mum's in peace. I could hear the ladies' TV set upstairs. There's a big lady above my mother, a large lady. Where my mum lives, it's for over 55, so they're elderly people. So she's got an elderly large lady living above her. And that's how my mum found out that Karen was in hospital with hypothermia and lack of food. So I stayed round my mum's until about 4:15. I came home in a taxi. This time the guy, he wasn't that helpful, just sat in the car, didn't help with the bags, didn't offer to put my bags in the boot, and he just sat there rigid, fixed with his eyes in front of him. So there was no eye contact, no communication, just quiet all the way to my flat. Unlike the driver this morning, who was chatty and he was nice and opened the door for me. So I bumped my head on the entrance to the back seat of the taxi. The driver drove quite fast, but both of those taxis smelt inside the taxi of burning. A burning smell, rubbery burning smell. Both taxis smell inside, strong smell of like burning. And you don't want to open the windows of the car when it's cold and get cold air down your ears. So I just put up with it. I got out of the taxi and my neighbour upstairs was in. His car was parked where it normally is, down the bottom. So he was already in. And I came in a taxi home to my flat. When I got into the building, there was nobody in the building, and what I always do is check and see if I've got any post. I knew that Hazel had delivered the post yesterday, so there was no main mail. But I'd ordered things off of Amazon, so I checked, and there was parcels for me stood up by the wall. So I plonked my bags by the lift, and then I grabbed my parcels, and then I went in the lift by myself up to the first floor. Nothing on the doormat, and I came into my flat, and everything looked okay, untouched, the pets were fine, and I just unpacked my stuff, and I felt okay. I was happy. At that point, you're going to break my leggings. No. At that point, I was happy. Sorry, he's got big claws and they go right through my leggings and scratch onto my legs. He's a male, but he's very friendly, and he just won't leave me alone. Cats are like that with their owners. So I was quite happy. I ate some of the takeaway. I made myself a cup of coffee, and I was happy. But inside my flat, it was very, very quiet, very, very sinister. Not like it normally is. And I knew that I had to go out and walk my dog in the pitch black, and I know the games that the neighbours play, that these people play. I'd also had this message from Gerald Haddock. Gerald Haddock. Now, because I was feeling in a good mood, I started talking to this Gerald Haddock. Now, he'd contacted me off of an old dating site. There was no profile picture, and he said he didn't want a relationship of any kind because he was in Ireland. I got sent a picture of a short old man, grey hair with a beard. Right? I'm going to tell you everything because this is how it starts being pressurised for photographs. And it did with Sean Clark. This is what happened with that character I met off a completely different dating site. And he was a real person because I saw him sat down completely naked. So I know he was a real person. Right, this is how it starts, you see. I'm very strong, and I know what's right and what's wrong, and if I don't want to do something, I won't do it. But when you are feeling happy, or they catch you at a time when you could be vulnerable enough to give them photographs, but I'm very strong now, even when I feel a bit merry, if you know what I mean. So, I just corresponded with this. I knew it was absolutely ridiculous. Gerald Haddock. And I thought, oh, here we go. And my whole intention was just to have a bit of banter, that was it. So I went out at 10 to 7 after speaking to this person on WhatsApp. And there was a load more people about on the streets. And I kept my cool, and there was cars coming at me with their headlights on. In the taxi coming home, I sat on the back seat opposite the driver. Now a driver has to deal with fluorescent lights, and they're much, much brighter than they used to be in his eyes whilst he's driving. And if it was blinding my eyes in the back seat, what was it doing to the guy that was driving the car? Possibly blinding him while he's driving, which could cause car accidents. I've noticed that now. The car headlights are so bright they blind you for a couple of seconds when you're walking down the path. Dangerous. Do they need to be that bright that you can't see when you look into them? Yeah, so I went out, got myself on the field, and there was more people on the field than normal. Normally I go outside, there's nobody on there. So we had like people with dogs with red collars on. Although there was a guy wandering around the field the other night and a girl was screaming in the background. You see, gang stalkers, I believe the neighbours want me out of my flat, and they're using different tactics to do it. So they try and frighten you as well, thinking, oh, you've got to get out, get your bags and get out, it's an emergency, that type of thing. And there's nowhere for me to go. So my mum's elderly, she's not got a bedroom for me to sleep in, so I don't know what they're doing it for. I don't. So I walked around the field. When I was coming off, there was a guy coming onto the field with a dog, and I was speaking to my mum on the phone. When I came off the field, I was speaking to my mother on the phone because I thought it's going to start again. It's getting really, really busy, and they're at it again. So I was on the phone to my mum, and I put on a really, really confident stance, and I walked past everybody, even though I don't like loads of people. And I know it was Valentine's Day yesterday, and couples were going out for meals, and I didn't, and I wished them all love and happiness. Don't get me wrong, I just wanted to go home. I live by myself, I don't have a partner, and I don't feel street safe on the streets of Great Britain as it is now in 2025. Every day I am hearing things where women have been, it's not only foreign guys, it's guys in our country as well, British men are approaching women on trains and touching them, outside, following them. So it's not just me. I came back into my flat last night, and this Gerald Haddock started from being friendly and just hello, how are you, to being sexual, not knowing me at all. to being sexual. And I wasn't having any of it. And I tried to be friendly, but he turned the conversation into a sexual nature. And he flashed his penis on my WhatsApp with a disappearing message. So his dick came up, or a picture of a dick. There was no face attached to the picture. I just saw the head of a penis and a disappearing message. And then he went, whoopsie, I did a video. I'd like to show you the video if you flash your boobs. So there you go. It might not even be his penis. Let's face it. So he tried to get me to give him a flash of my boobs by saying you can just put it on there and it be on there for 1 second. They can screenshot that. They can get your nude photo. Right? Don't fall for that. He didn't get any pictures of my boobs. Nothing. So I tried to humour the guy. And then it started to get noisy late at night next door. That way. That is the single mum with what I would school age boys. 14, 15. Started to get noisy next door. She's a single mum, and sometimes those boys in there are loud and they're noisy, running around and whatever. So it was getting noisy, and the messages were disgusting. And I said, I'm going to call the police. So it sounded like someone was kicking, this was getting on for 1 o'clock in the morning last night. It sounded like someone was kicking a ball against my wall, jumping up and down, 1 o'clock in the morning, pitter-patting on my wall, really noisy. Right? I told them I was going to call the police because it was coming from next door. This noise. I came in. It was quiet. There was no noise at all. I did not hear anything. No speaking, no noise, nothing. When I started speaking to this character off of WhatsApp, just before I was trying to go to bed, it started being noisy next door. And I don't mean just things you can put up with. It was horrible. It was awful. I could not relax. I could not go to sleep. I probably didn't get to sleep till 2:30 in the morning or 3. So I had to put my radio on all night on a really low level so that it distracted my ears from banging cupboards, banging the wall. And they know what they're doing. They know they're doing it. I've woken up. I'm not cross. I'm not going to go outside cross. I've just looked out my window. More people than I've seen all week up and down the road. And they think they're going to get a fucking spectacle of me getting cross and angry because they think they've deprived me of sleep. And they think I'm going to get cross outside with people, and I'm above that now. They keep trying to bring this person back that happened 2 weeks ago, where I was so frightened to do my shopping down Rochester High Street. And I'm not going out to the Co-op this morning because I told you I think some of the texting is coming from young people inside the Co-op. I'm not going in there. I've got enough food in my fridge and cupboard for a while. They stand outside that Co-op and they laugh. I've gone inside that co-op, I've been served with staff laughing at me, which has made me feel small and horrible. It's horrible. And it does feel like it's some kind of television, and anybody can do what they bloody well like to me and treat me like shit. And I'm standing up for myself. I respect myself, and if people can't respect me, I don't want to speak to them. I don't want to involve myself with them. And I haven't given any photos to anybody. So normally I would have spoken to this person or spoken to Sean Clark, exchanged photographs, and then I would have walked into that co-op the morning afterwards to a bunch of laughing. But I haven't exchanged any photographs. I've not given them any information. They told me 2 wild fairy stories about themselves having a hernia and the nurse playing about with their penis. And that sounds like my ex at my old address. He did nothing but embellish sexual silly situations and make up stories about nurses and policemen having sex with him. Female police women. That's just sounds like my ex. He just told nothing but lies of a sexual nature. And come up to my flat and showed me rude things on his mobile phone, which is childish, especially when you're in a relationship with somebody, right? And you know, my ex is now getting on for 50 himself. And it sounds like he's still acting like a baby. I'm glad I got out of that relationship. It's childish sense of humour. It's like a kid, isn't it? Making up stories that you've slept with like everybody. And every time you go to the doctors, the doctor plays with his penis. I mean, that's very immature. I'm gonna get on with the rest of my day, but it's all about sex with this pervert. Taking your dog out, going to the toilet, everything's to do with sex. This is not normal. See you later.